Welcome, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Edwin.
Hi.
Ariendes.
Hey, everybody.
Maven.
Hey, y'all.
And Sanswinda.
Hello.
Day, everyone, and how's everything coming along?
It's the first time you've ever asked me that question at this point in the show.
Hey.
And y'all figured out that we're living in the Matrix.
That's right.
Right. Yes. So let's head into our game news for this week. And we'll begin with an announcement that there is a temporary change in store access. This is similar to a report someone made a couple of weeks ago relating to the help, in-game help access being changed, meaning that when you access the store, it pops up a window in your browser.
Your web browser?
Yeah, your default web browser.
Does it give you any warning before it does so?
Yeah, there's a confirmation dialog that will open.
Okay.
Right.
So there's a warning.
Right, and if you're in full screen mode and have only one monitor, then it'll minimize the game before it does that.
Ah.
I have confirmed, though, in my case, where I am not really in full screen, I'm in fake full screen mode.
Yeah, full screen windowed.
Yeah, in full screen windowed mode, and I have two monitors, and in that case, it does not minimize the game. It just pops it into my browser without any trouble there. But for some of you, I'm sure that this is going to be mightily inconvenient. So hopefully they fix whatever problem they're having that's forced them to do this pretty soon. We also have issue number 5 of the LOTRO Beacon. Yeah, I'm in rare April 1st form today, aren't I?
You are.
LOTRO Beacon, and this week we have our usual spotlights. The Land of Shadow has some great images of the Black Gate. That actually sounds appropriate for the Land of Shadow to have some great images of the Black Gate.
And Druid's Fire is the newest streamer on the LOTRO stream, which is awesome.
Whee!
She's on Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern.
And PC Games Grow has released the final video looking at the Spring Festival, which I believe the Spring Festival will be ending soon.
Tomorrow,
Monday, I think.
The 2nd, or Monday?
The 3rd, I thought.
Well, Monday would be the 3rd.
Yeah, I thought the screen I was looking at said the 2nd, but I don't know. Sometimes
what they do is they give the name of the date of the final full day. If it ends on Monday, then they say have until that way. People are encouraged to finish their quest because people have been complaining when they used to put the date of they turn it off, and they're running in trying to turn in the quest, and just before they get there, the NPC disappears.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so usually then they give the date of the final full day as a result of that. And in the Kin Hall,
it actually says further down in the beginning it runs through April 2nd, so it's through tomorrow, ends Monday.
There we go. And in the Kin Hall, we have the Wisdom of the Valar, who are an Evernight-based kin that welcomes all types of classes and players. They have a Kin Island, Facebook group, Twitter account, and more. And that kin's been around for 9 years, so we get some long-standing kins who so far have been in the Kin Hall. So let's go to our weekly comment. And the comment this week is, what is the final sentence of the widely known Tale of the Terrible Tavern?
Well, I feel really out of it if it's widely known.
I was about to say.
It's widely what Yeah. I feel like I should click that link and see what some people are saying. And that's why they never ran out of ale again.
That's why they never ran out of. Yes.
Because no one would miss the tavern, the investigation into the arson never concluded, or even really began.
And that's why you never sell watered beer.
And from then on, no chickens were permitted to run afoul in the tavern again unless they be leashed.
All right. Does anyone have any from there on instead of looking it up?
That's why they will never sell holly hornblower pies again.
Yeah.
Cordovin did make a post in the thread saying there's no wrong answer to that. It's so they're looking, I guess, for the most amusing. I think the holly hornblower one should win because anybody who's done Shire pies will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Having done it many times.
Mm-hmm. And we have the fan site news roundup. Of course, they give a shout out to us for our spoiler light discussion of U20 last week. And Light the Beacons looked into the future. What they're guessing what Update 21 is going to be like.
I don't know. I'm behind on Light the Beacons. Sorry, brag.
And
I saw it
LOTRO.
in my feed. I haven't had time to listen to it. I had a busy week.
It looks like everybody was talking about Update 20 because LOTRO Reporter was talking about Update 20.
Well, because Update 20 was
yes. No, what a coincidence.
Who'd have thunk?
And Red Shadow 1993 is continuing a starter equipment challenge.
That sounds interesting.
And Anding finds the Seven Gates and continues his travels through the East Epic storyline. So he's continuing there. He's questing in Minas Tirith right now. And our screenshot of the week is a really nice one from the festival.
Yeah, the new moth kite.
Yeah,
Well, and actually, the character.
The character.
Oh, I didn't know if that was
In the
Terry or...
screenshot, who is. Did you lose me?
Yeah.
Yeah, for a moment
said
there.
the character.
The character who's flying the kite in the screenshot is also wearing the moth cloak. The not hooded version of the moth cloak.
The not hooded version.
Yeah.
Right. And if you would like to give your own answer to the question that we asked earlier about the Tale of the Terrible Tavern, you could just answer the thread where that is linked in the show notes, which is the thread where Cordovin posted the article. So now let's head into our store sales. And Terry Adwin, what's for sale this week? Anything nice?
Yeah, actually. Although I don't recommend the free sample because it's Ranger Green times 2. Use coupon code SPRINGGREEN.
You don't like Ranger Green?
I really don't. I think it's a really terrible color. Second only to yellow and worst colors ever. But we've got 20% off select shared storage, select vault upgrades, inventory slots, and currency cap. And that's all good stuff.
All right, then let's head into the site news, and we'll begin with community events for March 31st through April 6th. And as usual, you could link up with the show notes and see what's there, but most of it has probably already passed because it's posted on Friday, and it's used to cover the weekend. Anyone see anything here that is coming up that they find useful to share with us? I'll take that
I
as a
didn't look.
no.
I'm sorry. I had a busy week.
All right, then we'll go to LOTRO Academy After School episode 14.
Yeah, which was the after-school episode for the end of February. It's finally posted.
Just in time for the one for the end of March.
Just in time for us to do March's episode,
Which
Yeah.
was last night.
which was last night.
And of course, we have our usual after school shenanigans there. And then we have an article, an opinion article on someone who is a less than arid, who is less than impressed with what was in Update 20, and he gives his opinions as what he feels is wrong with that update. And now, was that dog agreeing or disagreeing with Arid?
That is a good question. I don't want to speak for him. I'm not good at translating dog.
Speak! Speak says what to speak.
I think my dog has not seen Update 20, so he would have no opinion about that yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. You're still in
Update 19.
Update 19 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I made it past After Battle Osgiliath, and I'm proud of that, but I haven't made it to Update 20 yet.
Right? And then we have our usual shenanigans that are appropriate for today, and we'll begin with our Mordor pre-order bonus, and you can get your own Fell Beast, apparently. Right.
Not only that, but there's a Felbeast session play.
Ooh.
That was great. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the Critters April Fool's article, and some great screenshots. The text was pretty good. It's and yeah, it talks about how the Felbeast session play is you're actually taking the Felbeast from Mordor, which is full of hostiles now that it's fallen, all the way back to Angmar, where he still has buddies.
I guess you get a point there. And then there is a rumor that there is a door that connects Mordor with the Shire.
You know, I heard there was some graffiti on that door, too.
There was graffiti on it.
Yeah, there's an E scribbled in playfully between the MOR and the DOR.
So therefore, they're saying that there are more doors to Mordor?
Uh-huh.
Ba-da-bum-bum.
This was Zinger, so this was another really funny one.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, if they ever got rid of the door and filled in the tunnel, would you call the place where the door was Gondor?
That's a great question.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
Or if you decided that it was your family's door, it would be called Arnor. No, that doesn't work.
Almost.
No, it doesn't work.
And Buddha's yelling at me for being so horrible.
And then, what's behind the Mordor war door?
Now it's just getting ridiculous.
Yes.
Again, Zinger.
Yeah, I think, yeah, he sort of started going a little bit over the top here.
It's Lobelia Sackville Baggins versus the Mouth of Sauron.
Well, that's going to be quite a battle.
Jeez.
And seahorse mounts, aquatic mounts.
I just saw the picture, sorry.
Yeah, the trout dress was amazing. That was pretty cool.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah. And then the housing decorations of like your very own black gate to put in your yard.
I would like
That is an interesting is what kind of souvenirs we really will get of Mordor after the...
Right?
You know, for Update 21, what would be the real souvenirs? I'm sure we'll have to have our own table decoration for a miniature Mount Doom or something.
Well, because, you can't just get the I walked to Mordor and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
Right.
Not that that wouldn't be an awesome cosmetic. That could go with your bingo jeans from last year's Spring Festival.
Or they could just make a lousy shirt. Just take the T part off of it, and it would work with a lot of other shirts.
Then let's head into the Family Line part 128, and that is The Cold Wind Arrives.
Yeah, and this was still posted in March, so this was not an April Fool's joke. This was actually, yeah. We're really on part 128 of the Family Line.
And that'll go on for many more updates.
Which seems to feature Rangers, based on the screenshots.
Well, how can you go anywhere in LOTRO without featuring Rangers? Okay, you can go into Moria, I
You
guess.
can go plenty of places without Rangers, but he's around the Indominus area, so it's a lot of Evandin, which is a lot of Rangers.
A lot of Rangers, yes.
Kind of go, like you can barely turn around in Evandin without tripping over a Ranger.
Very well, let's then head into our new player question of the week. And Ariandis, what's the question this week?
Well, the question kind of comes from a story. I'll try to make it quick. I was in the new player area on Arkenstone server. I was leveling up one of my characters. I was around level 11 or so, and I was in the woods near the Coombe lumber camp. Is that the Chetwood?
That's
the Chetwood.
Yep.
Ah, you run
Did you run across a certain Warg?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I may have gotten killed in under 10 seconds by said Warg, but it's just a maybe.
That Warg is that Warg is infamous.
Yeah, so
We all sympathize.
That's the same. That was the same Warg we dodged when we were chickens, right?
Yes, and the
Yes.
same org that killed my lore master. About the time I figured I knew what I was doing and was pretty powerful enough to just waltz in and kill everything and waltz back out again.
So, and like I said, I was level 11 and it's level 15, but ish. And I thought that it would be all right. I'm like, hey, 4 levels over. I've played this class before. Maybe I can take it. No.
No.
So the only answer to that is no. So I guess my question is, that was, I believe, a signature enemy, and I know that there are different.
I think it's an elite.
Is it an elite? Okay. Well, there are different sort of, I guess, levels of different types of enemies that you face. What are these levels? What is the kind of the pecking order of how they run?
All right. We can begin with the lowest tier, which are the swarms, which are the greenies. And they're the ones that are really easy to take out.
Okay.
They have half the morale of normal mobs, and sometimes you run into them, like birds are sometimes greenies, and sometimes you have the goblins, those goblins that come in 4-packs. They tend to be greenies, so of course facing 4 at a time could make things a little challenging by their own.
Are those what people tend to refer to as trash mobs?
Well, trash mobs are anything that's not a boss, is what some people refer to as trash mobs.
Okay. So that could be a more general application then. Okay.
Now,
Like on the landscape, yeah.
Now in skirmishes, they're called weak. The greenies are the ones that are called weak in skirmishes. And you run to more swarmed mobs in skirmishes than just about anywhere else. The next level are normal, which are the ones you run into most often. The third tier are signatures, and when you're leveling up, that's a challenge 101 for a reasonable fight 101 when you're leveling up or the like. Because at cap, of course, you could take on 3 signatures at a time and wipe the floor with them if you're not squishy. But when you're leveling up, 1 signature is a reasonable challenge, and that's the way it's traditionally been. The next level after that are elite.
And Bogark, that warg, is elite. I looked it up.
Okay.
Yeah. And elites are intended for group fights.
That would make sense.
Yeah. So therefore, it's hard to do elite one-on-one solo. It can be done when you're leveling, but it depends on how you are and how well you're geared and all sorts of stuff like that. Anything off of ideal, you have a good chance of getting killed. And then after that are elite masters. And the elite masters are the ones intended for, say, a small fellowship at least, because elites 2 could probably take it out. A small you need fellowship for an elite master, and then after that you start to get into the nemesis and the arch nemesis.
What about rare elites?
Rare elites are just elites that are rare. They're not necessarily more powerful, it's just that they drop shards.
Okay.
Because you could also run to rare signatures, I've even run to a couple of rare normals, believe it or not.
Interesting. Okay.
It's just that they're rare and that they drop shards or mithril flakes if you're in Moria.
Cool.
Now, in skirmishes, they have namesake because, as I said, the swarms are called weak, the normals are called hail, the signatures are called hardy, the elites are called strong, the elite masters are called staunch, and the nemesis are called mighty, and the arch nemesis is just for the bosses in the skirmishes when you're at the raid level.
Okay. I feel like I should be making a flowchart.
Yeah. So that's sort of like how they proceed along.
Is there a way to tell, like, just looking at them, or do you have to...
Oh, you could look at their... At that thing that surrounds there with the name on it. I forgot what that thing is called.
Portrait
Thing?
frame.
Portrait
Yeah, the nameplate. Yeah, the portrait plate on there. That will tell you what type it is, because if it's green, that's what we call weaks greenies, because they have a green one, normal's blue, the signatures it's red, the elites it's red, but it has an eye with it, and then they start to get fancier after that.
Dropped a handy link into the chat, and I put it in Discord also.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
Did you happen to still have it copied to drop into show notes, too? In case people are listening to this later.
Sure.
Thanks.
Any other questions on this matter?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Then let's head into our week in Lotro, and Ariendis. What did you do this week?
Well, I did not mean to go first, but that's just how it happened. Sorry. This week, I caught the end of the Girls of Middle-earth stream. Got to watch them go through a little bit of the Wings of Fornost. And afterwards, Terry Adwin gave me some much-needed wardrobe help for my main on Landrival. Thank you, Terry. You're the best. And she taught me how to
Always
use.
happy to help.
She taught me how to use the wardrobe feature, which I had never used before, and that made me go kind of crazy on one of my other characters, switching stuff back and forth. So, Terry, you may have created a monster. We're not sure yet.
Yes. She's made many
So
monsters
now we
that
need-
way.
So
She's
now we need
created
to
a lot
let
of
Standing
monsters.
Stone know that we need sale on wardrobe space, is what she's saying.
Yes, please. And also, Sanswinda was there to provide moral support. Thank you, Sans.
And maybe get some ideas. So thanks for letting me hang around.
Hey,
Yeah,
there you
she
go.
now has a mini version of your outfit, by the way.
Oh, does she really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
changed a few things to fit the Hobbit better.
Yeah. And then I leveled up Landrival Arendis to 45. I'm still in Oghire in Angmar. Angmar is sufficiently gloomy, so I'll be glad to get out of there. And I took part, sort of, in the Academy field trip this week. I was super late, and so I kind of just joined on the call. But thank you guys for letting me listen. And while I was listening, I, on my own, leveled up my Arkenstone character to level 15. So that was pretty much my week. Sanswinda, what did you do this week?
Well, probably the biggest highlight was that I defeated the final boss in the Ruined City instance all by myself. And I'm still really proud of this. I think it was 2 days ago now.
There's a counter, guys. She marked it on the calendar.
I think I wrote it down somewhere, but I probably won't remember very much longer. But yeah, it was quite the fight. And I probably, well, I'm not going to say I shouldn't have survived, because I survived, and that was cool. And yeah, it's a part of a 3-man instance in pre-battle Osgiliath, so the other 2 people that I went in with had died, and my hunter persevered. So, also discovered the Dead Marshes in Gondor this week. Well, okay, I discovered a lot of things. I discovered the Slag Hills and Fornost too, the Fornost instances, but there was a really cool session play in the Dead Marshes in Gondor. So, thank you, Terry, for pointing out that was there and worth discovering, because it was totally worth discovering. So, and then on the field trip last night, had a lot of fun running the Protectors of Thingolhad skirmish with Pineleaf and the rest of the crew. We might have given Pineleaf a bit of a heart attack, sorry. But it was a lot of fun trying to get mobs into the circles so Pineleaf could shoot them. They weren't the most cooperative, but we were having fun trying to entice them.
That was so funny, when I read that. You wrote, and had a lot of fun trying to get mobs into circles. I was just thinking, I could see Pineleaf going, okay, now move that one a little bit to the left. Move that. Okay, now it's not really a complete circle. Move the mob. That's what I was
Well, there was some of that, and there was some of, come on, circle up, talk. There was some attempts to entice them by other means. I believe roast hobbit was offered at one point. Yeah, it was fun. Terry, I had one. How was your week? What did you do?
Well, I led the girls of Middler through the first 3 wings of Fornost, and then we ran out of time to finish Shadow. So sad.
Too bad.
Kind of not upset that we missed out on Shadow, because...
Although we'll have to go back and do it, I suppose.
We can try again, though, right?
Yeah, we'll try again.
Glordarel needs it. Everybody else has done it, and she still hasn't completed it.
At least
I haven't even started it, so...
Well, at least they're all unlocked now for girls, so...
True.
We should just be able to go in and start with Shadow.
Right.
Which is what we accomplished basically by doing the other 3. My Arkenstone lore master during the field trip crafted her way to level 20.
What?
Yeah. Farming and cooking. So, yeah, she's now a master journeyman farmer and a master journeyman cook, and she's level 20.
Nice.
And then I did a couple of runs through the library at Tom Murdine for reasons that I'll talk about later. And then killed all the things in...
Of course.
We did what?
Of course.
We did what, like 2 runs in about 20 minutes?
Yeah. Or less.
I believe so. Pineleaf was
Of course,
counting.
the second run was at half.
Well, the second run was at level 50,
Yeah.
so it was
Yeah.
obviously a lot easier. But the first one, we did it at level
Went pretty
105.
quick too.
Didn't
yeah.
have any issues. You go in with a champion and 2 hunters, and it's all DPS, and you've got mobs that are putting poisons on you, and it's like, oh gee, I am running with 2 hunters. Whatever am I going to do about all the poisons on me?
So it took both of us one time to get them all off of you.
It
It
There were so
did.
many.
Yeah.
It had like 5
'cause
poisons
shit's so
on me.
much. Yeah.
So yeah, Maven, how was your week?
Well, I got my North Athelian flower steed, which is what you get when you do the the like tip top level of all that flower gathering. And I got to say that for all the flowers that I gathered, that thing better be shedding petals. Shedding, SHEDDING, shedding petals as I run. It's really
looks
it's a
like
pretty
one of
horse.
those old-fashioned toy ponies.
It does, doesn't it? Like almost like something from a carousel almost.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
you guys
like
haven't
it's ready
actually
for
seen it
a
up close
major
and personal.
parade.
Yeah, I mean the tail ornament. It's really cool. I mean, I wish they had it for Worsty Cosmetics because it's actually pretty good cosmetics on it. It's pretty cool. So I did that, and then I unlocked and ran the new solar resource instances in the new area, and I'll probably talk about them a little bit later because I know we're going to. And then I did my very first pickup rep farming raid. And this took place in Skoyronk. It's in one of the new places. And the deal is what you have to do to get to is it's so weird. I guess you guys maybe couldn't explain to me why they do this, but there's these big, huge walls. They're big gates. And you have to fight the gate. You have to, shoot at the gate to get the gate to open.
Yeah.
You have to get it to open. Yeah. And then when you get back in there, I figured it was going to go into some new area. But when you get back in there, it's a dead end. And then it turns into more like and then the gate respawns, so you're stuck back there, and it becomes like a survival at Barrow Downs kind of thing, because these waves of mob just keep coming. So I was in this raid. It was like 24 of us. Oh my gosh. I mean, the Etmors has nothing on the amount of light and fire and everything else that was going on. It was crazy. It was crazy. And then, so we get like like 30 seconds to breathe. Yeah, I know. I'm all excited. Sorry. Listen to him. Fire foes, awake! And then the next run would come. Oh my God, it was just nuts. And finally, and so what would happen is people were leaving and joining, and so every so often somebody would beat the gate down again. So finally, my inventory bag was like shining red. It was going to explode because it was so red. And the next time the gate went down, I'm like, I'm out of here, guys. I went out. It was nuts. It was so crazy, but it was fun. I haven't seen anything else since then, and I don't know. They had rep items dropping from, I know, the mobs at Lang Raven or whatever it's called, which is one of the reasons why they had the hotfix this week was to take that back. And I don't know if it was the same with this particular, because this raid was before that update, and I don't know if these guys were fixed either. I can't imagine another reason why somebody would want to go back behind those gates other than rep farming, because there's nothing back there but just mobs and mobs and mobs and mobs and mobs. Anyway,
lots and lots of, if I remember correctly, they were elite masters back
They
then.
are elite master. Yes, that's the other thing. I mean, Andang and I did it in Bull Roar. We fired the gate down. It was just he and I, and we looked through there and we ran our mouse over the guys. We're like, I don't think so. Because every single guy in there is an elite master. I mean, it's just crazy. Someday we should do it someday, but I mean, I think it's probably worth doing once in a big group. But anyway, so that was my big experience. Pine Leaf, how about you?
All right, well, we will begin with my champion, where my champion visited the land of Forhel, and after spending a while in there and doing and finally impressing them enough to say that they were saying, oh yeah, okay, you've earned our trust. When I got to that point, I said, oh, these people, I'll just leave them. And I decided to head off into Moria instead. Because I hit level 50, I figured, I guess I'll just have to go into Moria and do there. I was wondering what I was going to do with my champion from level 50 to 60, but let's face it, as everyone else has been telling me, there's really nothing else you could do than to go into Moria. So despite the fact that I want to avoid the epic storyline as much as possible, I thought, yeah, I'm going to have to unlock Moria.
Well, once you get into Moria, you can avoid the epic story.
Yeah, I'll be ditching it after that, of course. And-
Actually, Moria makes a lot more sense if you don't do the epic story. No, seriously, the quest line flows a lot easier if you're not paying attention to the epic.
Right, because the epic keeps sending you back and forth to the
Back and forth,
Chamber of
and back and
Crossroads
forth.
and the 21st Hall, and
some more back and forth, and then back
you'll
again.
finish an
forth
area,
again.
and then
Yeah.
it'll say, "Hey, go back there and kill some stuff."
Yeah, there
And
is
you're
that.
Like, I was just there.
I just killed those things.
So yes, so therefore I will be doing Moria, and that also means, of course, then that means I do get to have legendary items, which is another matter, because obviously if I didn't do Moria, I would have had to skip those, and I'm feeling a
Well, you can
champion
still
is not
skip
gonna.
them.
Well, yeah, but
I don't recommend it on a champion, but you
yeah,
could.
And you
Yeah.
could technically unlock Moria and then go do something else if you really wanted to, right?
I think I missed part of that
Yeah,
sentence.
you cut
Yeah,
out
you
there
cut
for
out.
a second.
Sorry about that. You could unlock Moria to get the legendary items and then go do something else if you really wanted to, couldn't you?
Well, the entire point of skipping it was because it was unlocked, because it required doing an epic story.
To unlock
So if I
it.
was going to-
if you've unlocked it, you might as well go in.
If I unlock Moria, I might as well go in there anyway.
Okay.
So therefore, my main warden, I had an opportunity to poke some rangers, and then after that, I was chewed by the Towers of the Teeth.
So your main warden is a really bad dentist? Is that what I'm getting here?
Well, I felt like there were times when I was doing that stuff where it did feel like dental work on occasions. Especially the first time I did the Towers of the Teeth, and I found myself fighting 4 signatures at the same time, which...
Ooh.
Did you mop the
That-
floor with them?
No, I eventually managed to get them all killed, but certainly wasn't the floor mopping. It was more like a barely staying alive and using every trick I knew in order to do so.
I know the difference. The mobs in the Towers of the Teeth are way strong. I mean, there's way more of those elites there than there are in Squirunk. You know, there's a lot of mobs in both places, but I found the Towers of the Teeth much, much more difficult because of the strength of the mobs in there.
Yeah. Now, the one I was just talking about there was when I was there for the instance.
Oh, for the instance. Oh, got it.
Yeah, for the instance. That was the solo instance where I ran to those 4 signatures at the same time. I said, this is a solo instance?
Jeez.
Well, it turned out that it was a bad pull because it looks like you can do it where if you do it right, you can get only 3. But still, I think this shows you how overpowered our equipment is right now, is if they consider 3 signatures to be at a time to be a normal fight for it. Because when you're leveling up, if you ran to 3 signatures, you'd be wiped clean. Or at least I would be. I can't speak for Terry Adwin. She'd probably just...
Well, you
rip them
might be able
apart.
to kite them on a hunter. If you didn't run into anything
3
else.
signatures just sounds like I might actually use more than 2 skills.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's Terry Adwin. And then on my Bjorning, I found the side entrance to the Pelennor that bypasses Osgiliath. I was happy to finally be able to do that. Thank you, Terry Adwin. I think you're the one who gave me the best idea of where it actually was. I think you said that I didn't actually have to go into Harland in order to do it, and I was able to figure out
Right,
where it
it's
was.
around the side.
Yeah. So once you told me that, I was able to figure out where it was and bypass that entire mess. Yay! And that is our week in LOTRO. We currently have 22 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious raid of players, you could go support the LOTRO players. Simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. The funds from this Patreon are used to help to pay for the cost of our site and for the podcast each month. Now we have a featured comment this week from Lithville. And Terry, could you please read this?
Yeah, I'll read it. Okay, so hey, so Terry Edwin wasn't entirely right about what finesse does, and I apologize for this because apparently this is what happens when I'm not actually in-game rating tooltips. What finesse actually does is it allows your physical attacks to bypass enemies' avoidances, block, parry, evade, and your tactical attacks to bypass their resistance, not bypassing mitigations. Some skills traits allow you to bypass MITs, but those are class specific. The only MIT bypass I know of that isn't in the skirmish personal trait, and even then it's only in a skirmish. So, yeah, it doesn't bypass your MITs, it bypasses... It basically, but it still boils down to the same thing. Finesse allows you to hit your enemies better and do more damage, and PPUs tend to have more finesse, so that is why PPUs must die.
And we also have an email. Actually, we have 2 emails this week. And the first one from Michael Montgomery and Sans. What does Michael say?
Michael says, "Good morning. Thanks for all your efforts on the podcast. I listen during my 2 hours commuting every day. Do most players level alt solo and just group in level capped instances? Or just buy the Gift of the Valar? Or have a regular group? Or power level? Or skirmish repeatedly? I've played LOTRO since 2008, but am tired of solo leveling. Your descriptions of running around together and leveling various characters together sounds awesome. How to find leveling buddies?"
Kinship.
Kinships, Twitter.
Standing groups like the field trip with LOTRO Academy.
Well, and sometimes it depends on the kinship too, because when I was a part of a kinship at one point on one of my characters, and I had been playing for several months or whatever, and for whatever reason, the kin just wasn't. It had a lot of members and it had been around for a long time, but it wasn't very active, like in my level range. So for me, that just wasn't the right fit. So sometimes you have to kind of bounce back and forth between maybe if one kin doesn't work and you try it for a little while, maybe try another one. People are usually willing to help you when you're new. Like these guys have been a really big help to me. So you kind of just have to play around with it and just put yourself out there and meet people.
Twitch also is ridiculously good at finding groups because, people go in to watch LOTRO streams and they talk about, that normally they're watching streams because they can't play LOTRO at that particular time, but they also still play at some point. So you can usually get with people who are on your server and have people in your level range, because alcoholism is a wonderful thing.
Of course, if you're starting a new alt, you may even consider doing that alt on a different server.
That's true.
New alts. If you don't mind the fact that you're not going to have any of the
marks, medallions,
stuff, the marks, medallions, and stuff like that, of course.
Yeah.
And also going back to the streamers, some of them announce ahead of time that they're going to be doing something, and they'll have people, like anyone, just come in and join. So that goes back to Twitter and Twitch.
Yeah, LOTRO community is a great community. It's one of the most. It's the best community out there for MMOs, and tends to be really supportive of other people who we all love
it's a very cordial.
We all love the game for various reasons, and so we love to help other people love the game.
Other folks that have played other MMOs have told me that it's probably the most cordial MMO out there.
Yeah,
which I like.
I found my first group of leveling buddies entirely on accident from KinChat, so I recommend participating in
And then she went
KinChat.
downhill from there.
Actually, I think I did not go downhill from there. Because my practice at hawking and extending what I was actually comfortable with really paid off. So I know at least for me that was something that I struggled with at first, but I started to realize that even though most of my kin members who were on at any given point were 100 or 105, as the year wore on last year, they had lower alts too that they wanted to do things with sometimes. So talking in kin chat was worth it.
We also have a letter from Trotter and Maven. What does Trotter say?
Oh, you had to do that to me. That's okay. I'll do it. I was up in the notes. Here we go. Okay. Trotter writes, I have been doing lots of deeds in LOTRO recently to increase all 20 virtues to 19 or above on my main, and would like to nominate this deed as the most annoying, the Pale Followers Advanced. To complete this, you have to kill 300 Pale Folk in Tammirdain, which is an instance in Volume 1 of the Epic. So to complete, you have to use a reflecting pool many times. I yet put a couple more minis in there. In Rivendell. I would love to know if anyone has found a more annoying deed. More annoying deeds to complete than this. So Terry, why don't you tell Trotter what we did, what you actually spearheaded?
I mentioned earlier that I ran the library at Tammirdain earlier today. The reason I did that is because specifically of this email, because Tammirdain is not just in that specific instance. It's actually got 2 3-man instances that are available at level 50. There's the school at Tammirdain and the library at Tammirdain. And the library in particular has 48 Pale Folk that count toward this deed. We counted.
And not only that, Terry, we discovered
we
could do them at 50 and have them count.
That you can run, the instance unlocks at level 50. So if you're over level 50, you can run it solo and kill all the pale, because stuff dies really easy if you're over leveled.
Right,
and they still count.
If you're 105 and you run it at level 50, it still counts.
Yeah.
The pale
so
folks
it doesn't mean you can't. You still have to run it lots and lots of times. But probably one of the good pieces of news there is you don't have to go to Rivendell to do it. So you can be wherever you are in Middle Earth to run these.
Yeah, and probably you could alternate that with the Volume 1 thing of the Epic and get it done even faster, because so you need, 150 plus 300, so 450 Pale Folk total?
Yeah.
So this is, 9 plus instances of the library, plus however many times you run in Rivendell? It's actually not that bad.
It's not terrible. But now, he also would like to know if any of us have a more annoying deed that we could nominate than this.
I remember that my old one were I don't know if it's still true, but it were the lurkers in the Lone Lands.
Bog lurkers in the Lone Lands is still
they used
painful.
They used to be mainly, you had a small number on the outside, which were always hard to get, and then you had the elites that were on the inside, and I think they might have been demoted to signature. So,
oh yeah, the ones inside, yeah.
But there's not very many of them total. And they did lower the amount needed for that deed, but it's still
a pain. And I think they also lowered my least favorite one, which of course now the Pale Folk I'm on the second tier of that, and I hadn't really thought about it at all until he brought it up, and now I'll be annoyed about it. But also the worms in North Downs, because they're really only in one part, which is like in this little teeny corner of the North Downs that you really don't go through for anything else. I don't think.
I always had trouble with the wolves there, though.
Oh, in the North Downs?
Oh, you said North Downs. Oh, sorry. I was thinking of the troll shots. Never mind.
No.
Yeah, crawlers in the troll shots, because they don't show up as red dots at all.
Crawlers, the troll shots. Oh my god, you have to trip over them.
I reflexively kill crawlers wherever I am, because that was so frustrating for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot. I mean, I was actually going through my D list the other day, and I was like, I just started to get tired just looking at the list of all the different. Actually, I was looking at my virtues to see which virtues I wanted, which deeds I needed to do, and it was like, oh no, really? Oh, ick! It was like I was doing that on practically every one of them.
Carndoom, man.
Oh my gosh. And you've got the deeds that are also locked inside instances, like the Temerdine ones, Uragarth, Carndoom. I still have a bunch in Uragarth to do. Because I just didn't do it that often to where I didn't get all the numbers. Ugh.
So, if you wanted all 20 virtues to level 19 or above, which I think is an impressive goal to have.
Pretty impressive, yeah.
Would you have to do all the deeds, or would there be wiggle room with them?
There's plenty of wiggle room because there are more than 19 deeds for each trait, for each virtue. So, yeah, you can easily kind of pick and choose. It's just some of them just have like all of the annoying Slayer deeds.
Yeah.
You have to pick the least annoying
Then you're just going to be stuck doing at least one thing that you're going to hate.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, some of them are in some ways appropriate for it. For example, wisdom tends to be with discovery deeds, and so that's a really
Patience
easy
for
one to
running
do.
pies.
Yeah, patience for running pies. So therefore they do come up with appropriate names for the various ones in there sometimes, or justice for the brigands.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Anyway, Trotter, I'm very impressed that you're doing that anyway. Just anyway.
Yeah, because it's not like you need all of them, because there are
Right.
probably some deeds that some virtues that aren't going to be appropriate for your character. So
Well, plus you only get, 6 slots?
You get 5.
5.
5.
Yeah, it's my character right now. I thought it was a major milestone I think it was a month or two ago when I finally got to the point where I had all 5 of my equipped ones.
Up to 19, huh?
19. Yeah.
Yeah.
But think how many
That's-
LOTRO points
I'm
he's
the
going to
same way.
have.
Boy,
Yeah, you
oh,
do get
gosh.
lots of LOTRO points for that.
So then you can go buy virtues.
Or other
And
things.
Buddha agrees.
Well, you don't need to buy virtues.
Well, if he hasn't gotten them all up, but he's getting a lot of LOTRO points as he does, so you just go buy the virtues you're missing.
Yeah,
I
there
know,
is that.
that's cheating.
Or do it for another character so you don't have to do it again.
Yeah, really.
too.
That's
There you
true.
go.
All right, any other comments on this?
Not from me.
If you would like to contact us, you can contact us at podcast@LotraPlayers.com. You can also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlliance, Lotra Players @LotraPlayers, Ariendas @Ariendas, Forte @Forte_Maestro, Maven @Tolkien Maven, Pineleaf @Pineleaf News, Sanswinda @Sanswinda, and Terry Edwin @TerryEdwin. The Players Alliance has 4 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News. On the first and third Fridays at 11 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. On the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Academy After School. And on the last Saturday of each month, every Saturday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. You can join us for our live shows at LOTROPlayers.com/live. And that is it for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Mules reminding you to skirmish responsibly.